The sports world woke up to a headline that didn't just make noise, it detonated across every timeline. Nike unveils a billion-dollar marketing infrastructure built entirely around Shedeur Sanders. Within minutes, the story wasn't just trending, it was everywhere. ESPN couldn't keep up. Bleacher Report was flooded. Even finance pages were scrambling to decode what this meant. Because this wasn't a normal endorsement deal. It wasn't another flashy shoe contract or an athlete holding up a sneaker for a photo op. This was Nike betting its entire future on one man, a rookie quarterback who hasn't even taken a single NFL snap. To the average fan, it sounded impossible. But to insiders, it signaled something far bigger. The dawn of a new era where athletes aren't just faces of brands, they are the brands. The moment that headline hit, everything changed. Not just for Shedeur Sanders, not just for the Cleveland Browns, but for the entire business of sports. Hours after signing what was already being called the most lucrative rookie deal in sports history, Shedeur Sanders stepped into a packed press conference, the kind of high-stakes media moment Nike had planned down to the millisecond. Cameras were perfectly framed, the stage gleamed with that signature swoosh, and the air buzzed with anticipation. Then Shedeur walked out, wearing an Arby's jacket. For a split second, the room froze. Reporters stared in disbelief. Agents started texting in all caps. Nike executives watching from the front row nearly lost it. Their billion-dollar investment was standing under their logo, proudly repping a fast food chain. But Shedeur didn't flinch. He smiled. Cool, calm, completely unfazed. Because it wasn't an accident. This was a message. A statement that he wasn't going to play by anyone's script, not even Nike's. That jacket became an instant symbol of control. Within minutes, the image was everywhere. Screenshots, memes, debates. Was it disrespectful, or was it genius branding? Either way, Shedeur had just hijacked his own billion-dollar announcement and turned it into one of the most bold power moves the sports world had ever seen. Behind the flashy headlines and viral clips, the real story was happening quietly, buried deep inside Nike's headquarters in Beaverton, Oregon. Insiders say this wasn't just a sponsorship. It was a full-blown business alliance built to redefine how athletes and corporations work together. Nike's new billion-dollar infrastructure around Shedeur Sanders isn't about selling sneakers, it's about building an empire. According to reports, the deal isn't limited to performance bonuses or signature products. It includes equity stakes, media rights, licensing deals, and creative control over entire product lines. Essentially, Shedeur isn't just endorsing Nike, he's co-owning his own brand within it. Nike's marketing architects call it the blueprint era, a model that blends athlete influence with corporate strategy. Their gamble? Turning one rookie quarterback into the face of a generation. The deal is rumored to scale past $1 billion in lifetime value if Shedeur performs at a Pro Bowl level. But it's not just about his play. It's about how he moves culture. He's being positioned as the bridge between old-school athletes and the digital native era, the first NFL star designed for TikTok, Wall Street, and the highlight reel at the same time. For Nike, this is more than a contract. It's a cultural bet. They're not buying into touchdowns or stats. They're investing in Shedeur Sanders as a movement, a brand architect capable of turning moments into markets. And if it works, it could change how every future athlete negotiates power, ownership, and legacy. When the camera started rolling for what Nike thought would be a routine product reveal, Shedeur flipped the script in a way no one saw coming. As the spotlight hit the stage and executives prepared to unveil his first-ever signature cleat, the S12, he didn't bask in the attention. Instead, he turned away from the flashing cameras, pointed into the crowd, and called out a name most fans had never heard before. It wasn't another star, not a teammate chasing fame. It was his offensive lineman, the quiet giant who'd been blocking for him since college, the guy who never got the interviews, the highlights, or the endorsement checks. Shedeur motioned for him to come up on the stage. The room fell silent as the lineman hesitated, clearly unsure what was happening. Then Shedeur held up the prototype cleat, looked him dead in the eye, and said, "You protected my dream, now I protect yours." In that instant, everything changed. The press conference erupted, not from corporate hype, but from pure human emotion. Cameras scrambled, reporters shouted over each other. Nike's PR team had no idea how to react. Within minutes, the clip hit social media. Arby's reposted it with the caption, "He doesn't just rise, he brings people with him." The video hit 5 million views in 15 minutes. By the 30-minute mark, it was trending #1 worldwide. NFL veterans called it leadership money can't buy. Commentators called it the most genuine moment in sports marketing history. And Nike, despite losing control of their meticulously planned rollout, realized they'd just struck gold. Shedeur hadn't just sold a cleat. He'd sold a vision, authenticity as power. The moment Shedeur handed that cleat over, it didn't just make headlines, it shook boardrooms. Across the league, executives, agents, and rival brands scrambled to make sense of what had just happened. By the next morning, ESPN was calling it a marketing earthquake, while business outlets like Forbes and Bloomberg were analyzing what this meant for the billion-dollar sports endorsement industry. Because here's the truth, Nike hadn't just signed a quarterback. They'd rewritten the entire power structure between athletes and corporations. Inside Adidas, emergency meetings were reportedly called within hours. Executives demanded a counter-strategy. Under Armour began floating massive offer packages to up-and-coming quarterbacks just to keep pace. Even Jordan Brand, once considered untouchable, was rumored to be developing a new division solely dedicated to elite QBs, designed to rival Nike's new Shedeur model. The sponsorship world had suddenly gone from quiet competition to open warfare. And it wasn't just brands feeling the tremor. Agents were reworking negotiation strategies overnight. NFL teams started privately questioning how much outside influence their young stars could bring into the locker room. For years, marketing deals lived after performance. Now, Shedeur had flipped the order. The brand came first, and the football was expected to keep up. In a single day, one rookie forced billion-dollar corporations and NFL front offices to admit something they never wanted to say out loud. Athletes don't just play in the game anymore, they control it. What Nike built around Shedeur Sanders isn't an endorsement deal. It's a blueprint for empire building. For decades, brands paid athletes to wear their logos, post their ads, and sell their products. But Shedeur flipped that formula on its head. He's not just the face of a campaign, he's the architect of an entire business ecosystem. Sources close to the deal say he's involved in product design meetings, equity discussions, and creative direction, things usually reserved for corporate execs, not 22-year-old rookies. This is what makes Shedeur's rise different. He's not waiting for legacy brands to define his worth, he's defining it himself. The S12 cleat isn't just footwear, it's a symbol of independence. Every launch, every collab, every social post feeds back into a single idea. Shedeur is the brand. And that's a dangerous realization for the sports world, because it means the old hierarchy, where athletes depended on corporate approval, is collapsing in real time. Nike knows this. That's why they went all in. They're not just betting on his talent, they're betting on his influence, the ability to move culture across fashion, music, and media without ever needing permission. In this new model, players don't chase sponsorships, they build platforms. Shedeur isn't signing contracts, he's signing partnerships that multiply his value with every touchdown, every viral clip, every headline. It's no longer about endorsement deals, it's about ownership, equity, and empire. And whether the league likes it or not, Shedeur just became the prototype for the next generation of athlete moguls. For all the hype, deals, and viral moments, there's one reality Shedeur Sanders can't escape: the weight of a billion-dollar expectation. Because underneath every headline and highlight reel sits a question that no marketing plan can answer. Can he actually deliver?
He's stepping onto the NFL stage not as a rookie trying to prove himself, but as the most commercially valuable first-year player in league history. Before even taking his first professional snap, he's carrying the pressure of an entire corporation's reputation, a billion-dollar campaign that's been built on his shoulders. Nike stockholders are watching. His teammates are watching. The entire sports world is waiting to see if the hype translates to wins. The Cleveland Browns have surrounded him with weapons and protection, but now the expectations go far beyond football. Every throw, every decision, every public word carries a ripple effect that hits investors, brands, and media cycles in real time. There's no room for a learning curve when billions are at stake. Analysts are already calling it a performance paradox. If he dominates early, he becomes the face of a revolution. If he struggles, critics will say he was just another marketing experiment gone too far. But here's the part that's shocking everyone inside the league. Through all the chaos, Shedeur has remained calm. Teammates say he's the first to arrive, the last to leave, blocking out the noise completely, as if he's already made peace with the pressure. Because for Shedeur Sanders, this isn't about surviving expectations, it's about thriving under them. What's happening with Shedeur Sanders right now goes far beyond a contract, a shoe, or even a viral headline. It's the birth of a legacy in real time. Because this isn't just about performance on Sundays. It's about redefining what it means to be an athlete in the modern era. For decades, players were expected to fit into molds, play hard, smile for the cameras, say the right things. But Shedeur is rewriting that rulebook. He's blending culture, business, and authenticity in a way that feels completely new. His rise represents a generation that refuses to separate who they are from what they do. When he handed that cleat to his lineman and said, "You protected my dream, now I protect yours," it wasn't a marketing move, it was a mission statement. Nike may have invested billions into a brand, but what they truly bought into was a movement that turns individuality into influence and leadership into legacy. Whether he becomes a Hall of Famer or not, Shedeur has already changed how athletes are viewed, how brands operate, and how fans connect to the game. Because this isn't the story of a quarterback chasing fame. It's the story of a young man building something much larger than himself. The cleats, the cameras, the billion-dollar headlines, they're all just symbols of a deeper truth. Shedeur Sanders isn't waiting to become the future. He already is.